Okay, we are live, but what you see now is not me, but you see Lauren Scheuer with some of her chickens. She is sitting with maybe 3 or 4 or 5 of them. And Lauren, welcome to the chicken show. We might as well just start right there with, well, we got chickens, we got you, we got a chicken show going on. Tell us who's with you right now.
So fun. This is right here. Can you see Dory? She's a little barred rock.
Uh-huh. And she's liking broccoli today, I see.
She's having broccoli. This is Phoebe coming over. Come on up here. She's a speckled Sussex. I also have
looking right in your camera.
I've got Jenny, who is a Jenny the second. She's a black Australorp, and she's just stunning. Come here, Jenny. Oh, you can get up on my leg. Come here.
How beautiful she is.
Yep, that's Jenny.
Oh, they're not camera shy, Lauren. They're not the least bit camera shy.
And over here, you can't really see Scarlett, but she's watching you. She's the smart one. She's a Buckeye. This is Scarlett. She has no comb. It's just a little tiny pea comb and no wattles. She's an American breed. Oh, Jenny, that's not very nice. So we can have a little pecking order stuff going on here. Jenny gets wet because she gets a little broody. I know, it's a crazy kind of day, huh? So
you're just surrounded by your girls.
They're my reason to be outside. I love the outdoors, and with these girls out back, I'm out here as often as I can, whether it's for 5 minutes or 5 hours.
That was a great way to start the show. While they're pecking away at the broccoli, let me just say that I'm Ann White. I'm the founder of the Creating Calm Network, and this is The Chicken Show. And I am so honored to have Lauren here because, as many of you know, I'm the accidental chicken owner. And as soon as I got my hands, a mutual friend of ours on Facebook said, you need to get this book, Once Upon a Flock, and you need to meet Lauren. And so, Lauren, you have guided me through the ups and downs and with laughter. And Lauren, besides the writing of this book, you illustrated. Are you a professional illustrator? It's really your claim to fame, right?
Yeah, I'm an illustrator. Hi, Dory. I've been illustrating. I've been illustrating for decades. I do kids' books, a lot of textbooks. I also do things for American Girl Publishing. When I always wanted to write a story, but I never really had one until I got chickens, and then this drama evolved in my backyard. And I thought, hey, I don't even have to make up the story. It's right here. I've got the.
It is. Anybody who has chickens or loves chickens or just loves animal stories will love this Once Upon a Flock. I call it my breakfast book. I told Lauren when I sit and after I've taken care of my hens, I read her book at breakfast. So it's a very nice way. And I love the pictures and the illustrations are just wonderful, Lauren.
Thank you. I still have one bird from that original flock of mine. Her name is Lil White. She's actually not white. She's a golden buff Orpington, and she's not going to come over here because she hates me. But
well, you have a long relationship, issues.
We do, and she's. Oh, hey, here she comes, Lily White. Look, she's very shy, but she also would like to. She just never liked me, and she's never really had any friends, but she's mellowing in her old age. She's 6.5 years old, and she's slowed down a lot so I can catch her.
And behind Lauren, you will see a white dog who is kind of walking around. He's now by the house, but he'll come back again, and his name is Marky. And I was telling Lauren that's really how she came into my radar because I'm a dog person, and on Facebook she puts these beautiful posts on where is Marky. So I met Marky first on Facebook before Lauren. But Lauren, tell us the beginnings of your chicken story, and that's in the book, but when you first had the babies, the little chicks, and how did that all start for you?
My family wouldn't play with me anymore. And so I had no reason to be in the backyard, and I hate weeding, and I've got this big garden and all these perennials, and it's just no fun doing that alone, and Marky wasn't any help, and so and my daughter and husband were inside playing video games all the time. So I thought, chickens. I've loved birds. I've always loved birds, but I've never wanted. I couldn't bring myself to like get a parrot or anything because I'd feel like they should be able to fly free. And I kind of like the idea of chickens because not only can they almost not fly at all. They can barely stagger across the yard the way I feed them, but they'll lay eggs for me, and they're domesticated. They're not longing to be in a jungle anywhere that I know of. So it just seemed right, and they're my gardening buddies. I even have a little bench in the coop where I can go out in the evening with a glass of wine at night and join them while they sit on the roost if I feel like it. So they're just nice little buddies to have.
They are, and I love that with your bench in the coop. That may be an inspiration. There may be more of the bench in the coop business for me. But here's Marky. Marky's back now. You have the chickens and Marky free-ranging together, but it wasn't always the case. And I have a dachshund and a peekapoo and my 6 hens, so I'm still working that out. So would you share with us how you got Marky to be the leader of the pack and the guarder of the chickens as opposed to the eater of the chickens?
Well, he's like many dogs. His joy is chasing chipmunks and mice and anything, moles, anything he can find. He digs critters out of the ground and does his, a bunny is his best catch. He's older now, so he doesn't catch much, but he wanted to eat my chicks. When I got them, they looked just like any little mouse or any other little scurrying critter, and I just figured he's probably never going to learn. Even when the chicks grew up and became chickens, they were still these skittish things that would run around, and he just felt the need to chase them. So I just didn't give him much hope, and I kept the birds very separate. I had a chicken tractor for them, which is an enclosed. Excuse me, I'm going to cover up this poop here so nobody will step in it because that's disgusting. Who did that? You're not supposed to poop.
On TV, girls. Don't poop on TV.
I had my birds, and my birds were always in the chicken tractor, safe from Marky, but they were out, hanging out on the lawn there. One day, Marky got into the chicken tractor, and all hell broke loose, and I was pretty sure he was going to kill every one of them. Ooh, peas, everybody, peas. Yay! Here you go. Little white peas. Come here. So it was that day I learned actually myself that I wasn't playing the game right. I wasn't understanding Marky. He was jealous of these birds. I was giving them a lot of attention. I was giving them treats all the time. And I could use him as a protector. And I thought maybe if I do things right, he could help me rather than be a monster. So the first thing I did was gave him a little bit of chicken feed before I gave it to the ladies. And that gave him, in dog language, that means you're the boss, Marky, because I fed you first.
Uh-huh.
And that was the beginning. I kept him on a short leash among the birds, and anytime he looked at them or moved toward them, I would tell him to leave it. I would say, these are Mama's chickens. And now he's a very proud chicken protector. He's not always really patient with them. If they're flapping all around him, he'll show them a few fangs, but he stops before blood is drawn.
Of course, protected them, right? Like I think in your book you said how he checks for predators and things for his girls. So it sounds like he's a good chicken guard.
Every morning and all day long too. He's an outdoor guy. He doesn't want to be in the house. No matter how cold it is. I've got his bed right out here, and I put this bed out in the snow, and he'll hang out there all day in a snowstorm if you let him. But he makes the rounds. We've got a decent-sized acre and a quarter, I guess, here, so it's enough space for him. That's a lot of space for him to cover anyway. So he pees on all the trees around the edges, and he barks when he hears things in the woods. And I even taught him to be concerned about hawks, because they used to be just flying over us all the time. It didn't matter to him, and when I realized what a danger they are to the chickens when they're out, I came out and freaked out every time I saw a hawk. I'd point to it and I'd say, Marky, look, a hawk, and he'd start barking at it, and I gave him a biscuit, and that was a quick lesson too. So he also keeps an eye out for hawks along with the ladies.
I love it. How old is Marky, by the way?
In a week or two, he's going to be 14.
Wow. And he still looks very spirited as he's walking around behind you, checking out his territory.
He is. My vet says the key to a healthy older dog is keep them lean. So he's kind of skinny under all that fur, but he's very healthy. Knock on wood. He's also I think that the Eskimo breed, which he's half Eskimo, I think that they have quite the lifespan. They can live to like 17 years or something.
Go Marky, go Marky.
Now, I know.
You have everybody's a different breed in your with your chicken family. How did you choose the breeds?
Well,
was it your choice or wow, look at this girl? Woo-hoo.
This girl is so elegant. That's a black Australorp, and if you ever thought that a black chicken would be boring looking, she is iridescent in the sunshine, and her curves are so gorgeous. She's just elegant. She looks good anywhere. She makes the yard look good no matter where she is.
Your lawn ornaments.
Yeah. Then here's somebody who's going to panic. This is Phoebe. She's nothing but trouble. She's Terry Golson of hencam.com recommended that I get Phoebe. She's a speckled Sussex. She said, you want a breed with a big personality, you want to get a speckled Sussex. And that's what I got.
What makes her personality so big? What's she like?
Phoebe?
Yeah.
Phoebe is the lowest in this flock. You know, I don't know if she's indicative of all speckled Sussex, but in this flock she's the lowest on the pecking order, and she's rather diminutive. She's got a whole lot of feathers, but the rest of it is just bone. She's very vocal. She flies all over the place. She runs back and forth between the bird feeders when the chickadees are flying. She's kind of wants to fly with them, and she's kind of loony. Gets pecked a lot, and she screams every time somebody aims a beak at her. They don't even have to touch her. They just go like that, and she screams. So, but she's my husband's favorite, and she's the favorite of a few folks on Facebook too, because she strikes such a nice pose.
Oh, there. So those are the two. Then, and who else do you have? Because you just picked them you're looking for breed personalities when you decided who was going to come to your flock.
Well, at first I just wanted a colorful bunch. So I wanted this buff Orpington because I heard that these golden birds are very kind and elegant, and Little White, my buff Orpington, is very elegant, very passive and quiet, but I learned that she's actually very passive aggressive. So and then the black one, you just got to have a black bird. You just got to. I don't have a white one because I heard that they're the first things a hawk is going to look for. They're so bright out in the yard. Marky, quit crinkling that, okay? I hope that's not too noisy.
No, I can't even hear it. Who's this coming around? Oh, the one without the
This is Scarlet. She gets very upset because she just finished molting, so she's a little uncomfortable. She's got this big, broad breast. She'd make a great oven stuffer roaster, to be honest. She's a Buckeye, and she was developed in Ohio, the only breed developed by a woman. They're developed as a multi-purpose breed for a dual-purpose breed for eggs and for meat. So she's a hefty girl. She's very smart, and everyone I know who has Buckeyes, all the people I've met on Facebook with Buckeyes, are absolutely in love with them. There's an American Buckeye group on Facebook and clubs you can join, and apparently they're all very curious and intelligent. And Scarlet is actually in love with Marky. She comes a little too close and looks a little too closely at him, so a lot of times I have to rescue her. He gets a little mad or worried that she's going to peck him or something. He actually just wants to be near him.
And what's the personality of your barred rock like?
Well, Dory from the start was the calmest little thing. As a baby, I could hold her in one hand and she wouldn't go anywhere. She's still very calm and very personable. She talks a blue streak even when she's in the nest box. When I come out here to say hi to the ladies and Dory's in the nest box, she talks to me from in there saying, I'll be right out. I'm almost done. I'm just laying an egg. I'll come out in a minute. So she's
that is so funny because my little barred rock, Glozell, I went out this morning, and she always has to come out and play. She's always got to be hugged. She's always got something to say. And today I came out and she was trying to lay an egg. It was like, oh wait, hurry! I gotta get, and she was like in a panic in her egg. So I finally just left because I didn't, she was just so flustered. I can't get my egg out, in time.
I know. Don't watch me. You can't watch me.
Yeah.
But I've my Lucy, the special needs hen in my book, was a barred rock as well, and I've decided I can never be without at least one of this breed because there's something special about them. I had another barred rock named Pigeon who is in my book as well. All my barred rocks have been very unique birds, but have had something special about them. So personable. Pigeon was the most caring, just loving and caring of her flock. She never ruled with an iron beak. She summoned the Pigeon would summon them all to bed at night, and they'd all follow her to bed. And she treated her flock like they were her babies.
Yeah.
And I've talked with a lot of people. I'm on Facebook probably as often as you are, Anne. We're both addicts, right?
Right.
But the people I talk with about barred rocks all say the same thing, that there's something about this breed. There's the personalities are just delightful, and I'm learning from these birds all the time, every day. I can come out here. I can spend, if I just sit down and spend 5 minutes with them, I see interesting little interactions. I find out who's not feeling well or who's limping. It's always good to keep an eye on that. But I also learn from them. Yeah,
I find them so amazing. And again, I'm brand new to chickens. I've only had mine for a couple of months, so there's a lot of learning. But they do teach. They teach a lot.
I'm so glad your obsession came on so strongly and so quickly.
That's why I say I'm an accidental mother clucker. In that sense. But I want to talk about what you're doing now, or keeping hens occupied during the winter. But before we do, I have a question. When you get a hen, do you get it as a baby chick? Do you order it, or how do you get your hens? Because as I'm thinking of getting new ones too, I'm thinking, how does that happen? They just come in the mail?
I order mine. I order mine from My Pet Chicken. I'll give them a plug. I can't say they're the best, but they've always done well for me. They vaccinate the chicks. You have to ask for a vaccination for Merrick's disease, and I recommend that everybody get their birds vaccinated, get their chicks vaccinated, because it's in my flock. It's a horrible disease. It's a slow death, and it's awful. So there's a warning. But my several of my birds have died of it, and now my new 4 girls who you've met were all vaccinated like on day 1 by My Pet Chicken. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that will boost their lifespan and their health. But
that's a good warning. Thank you. And then, do they mail them to you as little chicks, or do you go pick them up, or?
Day old chicks. They come in the mail, and they're packaged in a way, and they're born in a way that chicks can actually live for 3 days without any food or water. That's their natural protection, because they if a mother hen is sitting on her eggs and 1 or 2 of them hatch first, she can't really get up and take those out for a walk. She's got to sit on the other ones too. So for 3 days, they're good to go with their own reserves inside of them. So when I get my chicks from My Pet Chicken, they've always arrived healthy and alive and a little shaken, but okay. But there are other ways to get chicks. The greatest joy, if you have the kind of living style where you can do it, is to have your own rooster and hens and let the hens have babies. You know.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I can't have a rooster here. It's just too noisy in this neighborhood, and so my hens lay eggs, but none of the eggs are fertile. So you might also you might also get some fertile eggs from a farmer and hatch them yourself in a little incubator. All of those are possibilities, but I like to buy them from a hatchery because they're sexed. So somebody at the hatchery can see whether it's a boy or a girl from the very start, and they can send me just girls because it's hard to find a good home for a rooster. And yeah. I'm not. I don't think I have it in me to chop their head off and have them for dinner. I wish I did, but I don't.
I'm glad you don't. I'm glad you don't. Marky just came back, and this is my little egg eater. He just likes to go in the chicken pen, and I have 5 red Freedom Rangers, and they've all let him know that he's the bottom of the pecking order.
Really? Oh, goodness gracious. Well, I've got my mother's little Shih Tzu, who's also 14. Marky, it's going to make you sick, but it doesn't matter because
the chicken's got it, so he's
going to eat the apple and then he's going to throw up over there. But yeah, my little Shih Tzu is smaller than the chickens, and it didn't take me long. He liked to chase them when he first met them, and it was a very quick education. One of them came after him, and now he doesn't even look at them. He slinks past them.
Yeah. These 5 ganged up on my little guy, so he leaves them alone. But it looks like you are a great chicken play pal. So chickens can get bored in the wintertime. What do you? I can see it clues to what you do. You throw peas around, and what else do you do?
That only lasts a couple minutes. But you know what I do? I have little garden stakes and things. I've got some metal stakes from fencing or something. That I'll actually impale an apple or a big head of broccoli or something onto a stake, and then I'll stick the stake in their pen so that they can peck at it without it rolling around in all the dirt. So it's a nice way to have the food for them right there. They can peck at it. It's clean. They don't want to eat things that are covered in crud. And I also have the suet feeders that you can get for birds, for wild birds. I have a couple of suet feeders, and I stuff kale into them, so the ladies have to pick at the kale. Those are hanging on the sides of the run. I've also, at times, I've gotten roasted peanuts in the shell. You can get a big cheap bag of it at the supermarket, and sometimes it takes them a while to get into the shell, pecking around at it, so I'll hide them. Sometimes at night when I come out to clean up, I just hide a few peanuts here and there, and they eventually find them and they're thrilled. Oh, and another thing I do, if you're living in a snowy area.
And you are in a snowy area, right? You're up in Massachusetts?
Yep, I'm in Massachusetts. We don't have any snow right now, but and I do have a covered run for the ladies I put plastic on the side of as well, so that when they wake up in the morning, there's no door that opens or closes. They have a very safe enclosed run that has no snow in it, so they're good. If I go away for a weekend, they're just fine. Mm-hmm. But they've got another run that's not covered. It's got a little bit of netting on top to keep the hawks away. When it snows and that's full of snow, I have a couple of 2x4s that are or a few of them leaning against my shed, and I just take those and plop them down on top of the snow, so the ladies can still get out and walk around, because they don't want to. Those little feet are delicate, they don't want to be walking barefoot in the snow. So to have a few logs or 2x4s stashed away somewhere for when the snow starts piling up, you just put something on top of it, and it makes them pretty happy to have a little space like that.
What fun. You are the best chicken mom. If someone was going to come to you and say, I'm thinking about getting hens, what would you tell them to caution them or to encourage them? What kind of advice would you give a newbie?
I recommend that you look online at all sorts of chicken coops and setups, and you can go to backyardchickens.com, where you get a lot of ideas. People have posted all of their small, medium, and large chicken coops, and there's also a lot of information about raising chickens there. That'll give you an idea of what kind of coop you might want. Again, I quote Terry Golson all the time, who her hencam.com site has a FAQ, frequently asked questions section, that will give you all the correct information on chicken health. There's a lot of information on chicken health online and in books. It's not all correct, but Terry Golson's is. Terry recommends that when designing a coop, you make it twice as big as you thought you were going to need, and give the birds a lot of light and ventilation. Those are keys to their health. A dry run is also great. She recommended, I had mud in my run, and I was putting down 2x4s just so the girls wouldn't have to walk in the mud. She said, put down sand, just regular cheap construction sand, and that's been wonderful. It's turned my chicken run into sort of a little litter box. I have a little tiny rake and a little bucket, and I go in there and I scoop up their poops, and the place is spotless. So that's nice, you know.
That's a good idea, because one of my problems is, being the accidental chicken owner, is when I bought my house, I looked for the smallest yard I could find. So now my compost pile is almost my whole yard. So I've been thinking about converting to sand and getting a scooper and trying to manage it a little bit better.
Yeah, you know, you can't always. It's hard. I've spent money on I've designed and built all my own coops, and you can spend a fortune on it. You know, don't think that you'll get chickens and you'll get your money back from selling eggs. It doesn't work that way. These are pets. You could start a farm. That's different. They wouldn't be pets. But I've named every one of my birds. I keep them long after they've finished laying their eggs. Little White's never going to lay me another egg, ever.
Where did you go? You're now alone. All of a sudden, you're alone out there by yourself. Where are the girls?
Marky's in the woods hunting, and all the girls, once they've stocked up on all their food and their treats, they like to retire into the warmer area in the run, and they're all preening, which is another wonderful. Their little social habits are beautiful. They preen to clean up and rearrange all those feathers. They've got to keep them all in order and all clean in order to work well for them. But preening is also a social activity where they're showing each other that they're comfortable with each other, and that, you know, it's a bonding thing. So that's what they're all up to right now.
You know, they're so amazing. I'm so glad that I've joined the chicken club, so to say, with chickens, because sometimes what I'll do is I'll look out my kitchen window at night and their coop is lit, and they seem to all be sitting there talking to each other. I don't know what, but just before they go to bed, they're just in there having a chicken fest or something. So maybe, like you said, I'll take my wine and go sit and watch and see what they're talking about. But it's like a little fest.
Oh, it's just, there's just so much to learn from their little interactions, finding out who's the top of the pecking order, or who's going broody, or you know, and who seeks out your company and who couldn't care less. I mean, they're all such individuals. It's just a joy to watch what's going on.
Yeah, I'm so glad you came to the chicken show, Lauren, and I hope you'll come back again sometime, because you are just delightful. And Marky's back, and your hens are probably in the coop thinking, look at her human. She's out there freezing, and we're in the warm coop. What a silly human we have sitting out in the cold Massachusetts winter.
Thank you, Anne. This has been really fun. I hope we can do it again soon.
Oh, I really do, too. And again, for anybody who wants a delightful chicken experience, Once Upon a Flock. I'm just loving it, and you'll love the art. Even when I made the poster for the show, Lauren, and I was able to pick some of your art off your blog, it just makes me happy to look at it. It's a happy. Your drawings are happy drawings.
Thank you.
Yeah. Take care, and everybody have a clucky day. A clucky day.